everybody, John McClellan here, ATX Hot Sauce, atxhotsauce.com. Subscribe below if you like our videos. Last time we were here, our last video, we made the fermentation for our hatch chili sauce. Today, we're gonna make the hot sauce itself. Stay tuned. All right, everybody, let's get to making this hot sauce here. A couple things I wanna address though. In some previous videos and some comments, everybody's making fun of my sanitation processes, saying, sanitize. I know I say it a lot. It's that important. Listen, would you rather have unsanitized equipment making your hot sauce or sanitized? I'm gonna go with the sanitized one, right? And what I use, a lot of questions about this, is Star San. You mix 1 ounce of this for 5 gallons of water, spray it, let it dry, and it sanitizes everything. Make sure you wash your equipment though. This does not wash it, just sanitize it. It's food safe. 1 ounce for every 5 gallons. Just put it in a spray bottle like I have right here. All right, now let's get to making the hot sauce. Number one, here's our number 200 fermentation. It's the hatch chili sauce. Remember, the big blue book, you want to keep all your ingredients that you put into your fermentations in a book with all your batches on it. That way you remember 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks later what you actually put in there. So let's see what we actually put in here. This was number 200. We had, let's see, that's the wrong one. This is why we keep them in order. Number 200, we had hatch chilies, onions, tomatoes, tomatillos, garlic, ghost pepper, 2 of them, and a little bit of love, 3.5% brine. So let's get to making that. Always want to keep this in handy. If this comes out perfect, I can always go back and repeat. All right, first thing you want to do is we're going to drain the brine off of this, right? You want to be very careful when you're doing this. I'm going to put my little strainer here. And let's give it the smell test too. I think that's really important, right? Good fermentation should have a good... Oh wow, that smells absolutely perfect. It's got this tang thing going. You can smell a little bit of the heat, the hatch chilies coming off of it. I can't wait to try the sauce. All right, now this is got to be very careful here. Let's drain off this brine. There's that onion cap that we use to keep everything down into the brine. All right, that's about good right there. Now, one of the things we also want to do is we want to check the acidity, the pH level of this brine. The reason we do this is you want, number one, shelf stability, right? And you want a real low pH, keeps all the bad bacteria out of there. I'm shooting for something below 4 pH. So what we're gonna do is here, we're gonna take our trusty little pH monitor, open it up. Now remember, when you have a pH monitor, make sure you always keep some liquid in this little cover cap here. You don't want the sensor to dry out. And we always like to wash this off too. All right, let's get this thing turned on. All right, let's get it down here in the brine. 3.4 on the pH. That's very acidic. There's not going to be any bad bacteria in here. 3.4 on the pH. That is great. Always wash it off. Turn it off. All right, now that we know that our sauce is good, got a good acidity level to it, we're not gonna have to add that much vinegar. You know, one of the things I don't like adding to a lot of my sauces is vinegar, only for taste, not for acidity. Only for taste, not for acidity. We do that through the fermentation process. We're gonna do it here in our little Vitamix blender. This is my favorite thing I bought probably in the last year. It does everything. It does the pasteurization, it blends everything up, gets rid of all the seeds and everything else, turns it to a fantastic sauce. So let's get this guy going. We may have to do 2 of these, so. All right, so we're gonna blend it a little bit, let that sauce come down. We're gonna add the rest of the ingredients on here. Now, I'm gonna blend it a little bit, all the ingredients kind of settle down. We'll see if we can add the rest of our stuff here. We may have to do this in 2, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll probably have to do this in 2. I need a bigger blender. Vitamix, can you help me out? looks fantastic. All right, now before we get too far, let's go ahead and taste our sauce, right? By the way, I wouldn't recommend filling up your blender this much. You can or cannot put that in. All right, let's give it a little taste test. You got the tang from the tomatillos. It's got that little heat on the back from the hatch chilies. Gosh, I love hatch chilies. This is a fairly mild sauce. We used mild hatch chilies, but I gotta tell you, all the flavors are shining through. I don't even think I need to add any brine to this. I think we're gonna do it just like this. But what we are gonna do, I'm gonna break it up into two separate blends here. So stay tuned. All right, guys, while we're blending this, one of the couple things that we're gonna be doing here, number one, we're mashing everything up, getting it all mixed up, breaking down all the seeds, everything together, getting it blended. One of the things we run into, one of the problems we run into with hot sauce is it tends to separate sometimes. That separation is easily taken care of. There's all kinds of different techniques you can use out there. I think one of the simplest and best ones is to add xanthan gum. That's xanthan gum. Xanthan gum will keep it, that viscosity where you want it to. I'm not gonna add very much to this, probably about maybe 1 teaspoonful for this blender. I can get the blender top off. There we go. Don't want to spray out everywhere. Make sure you blend it right away after you put this in. You don't want it to clump up. This is 1/3 of a teaspoon each, so that's 3. That makes 1 teaspoon. And we'll get this blended. All right, the next thing you want to watch is, how thick is the sauce getting? It's getting pretty thick, and I like to be watered down just a little bit, but we're not going to use water per se. We're going to use a little bit of the brine. One of the things I haven't done is added any vinegar to this. After putting some of this brine in, I may have to add just a bit. I'm probably going to do about 1/4 cup of white vinegar. So let's see here. We got 2 cups here, and there we go. And that should do it. Now, the next part too, what I love about this blender, it actually is going to pasteurize it too. And so we're going to blend this until it gets to be a temperature of 165 degrees. As soon as it hits 165 degrees, we're going to stop the blending process. That pasteurizes it, so the fermentation process stops. This is very, very important, especially if you have a fermentation that's only been going for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. You can still have CO2 being released. And what this does, pasteurizes it, stops all that from happening, that fermentation. The last thing you want is for that bottle to blow up in the cabinet or in somebody's face, right? That would not be good. So we're gonna blend this now until it hits 165 degrees. I bet that's about 165 now. Instant read thermometer, stick it in the sauce, see what we got. 164.165. Boom, right on. All right. All you gotta do is get it to that temperature, it pasteurizes it, and then we're gonna put it in this container, make another batch, and get going. Instant read thermometer, very, very important. So let's get this other batch started. All right, we got it blended up. Took about 8 minutes to get it to that 165 degrees. The smell is absolutely amazing. We've got to taste the finished product here too. That smell coming across is just wonderful. Oh, that is good. Hatch chili sauce from Hatch Valley, New Mexico. That's where our peppers come from. I tell you, it comes out once a year. If you want to check it out, go to our website, atxhotsauce.com, and get you some. Let's bottle it now. All right, let me show you how to bottle this. Number one, we're going to talk about it again. Make sure you thoroughly wash and sanitize your utensils at this point. We've washed this, sanitized it, along with all the glasses here, these woozy bottles, and we're going to start making some sauce now. We actually have a bottling machine for our company, but here, for YouTube here, I'll show you how to do it by hand. Best thing to do, get it, make sure you're doing it while the liquid's still hot. I'm going to tell you why in just a minute. Get it in here without trying to spill it everywhere. You want to fill it all the way to the top because there's going to be a little bit of settling because that hot sauce is hot. All right, and that's a little too much, but that's okay. We can fix that. Okay, there we go. Gonna get the little lid on it here, stop my timer. Get that lid on. Here's another important thing. Once you bottle these and they're still hot, you see inside this lid, that little piece of plastic in there, you wanna make sure that that creates a seal. So you put the lid on and then put it upside down in a box for at least 15, 20 minutes, all right? And then you can flip it back over, put your labels on, do whatever you wanna do. Make sure you flip it upside down, that heat, get that little plastic thing and make a seal for you. Tell you what, this is the Hatch chili. It's messy, but it's good. Check it out. Check out our other videos online. Subscribe below if you like this. And if you want more stuff, comment below. Hey, what kind of sauce would you like to make next? Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.